afternoon, everyone. Test. Works. Nice. Good afternoon, everyone. Also to the millions watching at home, welcome. Good to be here. First of all, I think congratulations to everyone who made it this far in the conference. A lot of input. So give yourself a round of applause. Also the panelists here. Yeah, really happy to be hosting this panel today. You see it, I guess, on the screen as well. We're talking about the intersection between AI and biotech. My name is Kevin, CPO at Molecule. So you see the logo down there on the screen. Yeah, and I'm really happy to host this panel with my fellow panel guests. So without further ado, would actually like to introduce every single one of them, probably by yourself. So you're much better at doing this than me just reading it. So maybe we can start from the rest with you, Alex, and then we just take it through.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Alex Aliper, president of Insilico Medicine. We're an AI-powered biotech discovering drugs with our AI platform, and we're also catering the AI platform to academia, big pharma, biotech industry.
Yeah, hi, guys. I'm Simon. I just introduced myself and my company, so just skip this part.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maria. I'm a product manager at Molecule, and I've been working with the team for the past 3 years, and I'm super happy to be here. Just learning from all of the researchers, new people in this space, and also the amazing, big brains that we have here doing amazing things with AI.
Cool. Thank you so much. Couldn't have said it better. Yeah, I think Simon had a lot of intro today, so we skipped that. Cool. Actually, I would like with the first question to go beyond the LLM hype. So I think we've all seen how AI transforms the day-to-day, right? You even have the reference to the ChatGPT moment, an actual breakthrough for a certain technology that it gets referenced to. But without LLMs or agents or AI getting all of the initial hype, I wanted to kind of understand a bit about more like how AI systems can actually underpin scientific progress. Like, how do you see this from your perspective? What do the models have, capabilities that not necessarily trend on X that are just yet known, just also from your perspective? And then, of course, Maria, if you can, at the end of it, just in case for DeSci, how do we apply there?
Maybe I can start. Well, our journey with AI started when we founded the company back in 2014, almost 12 years ago. And before any LLM, before transformer architecture was published, our first work was in generative chemistry for oncology applications. And we applied GenAI, generative adversarial autoencoder, to generate real molecules, structures that are novel and can be used for oncology applications, long before transformer and LLMs gained popularity. So even beyond LLMs, you can see the impact of traditional AI, deep learning, combined with high-quality predictive modeling, physics-based approaches to accelerate drug discovery cycles. And for us, the kind of the breakthrough, the inflection point was our first program in lung fibrosis, which has just completed phase 2A study in 70 patients with lung fibrosis, and where we showed that the molecule out of our platform is not only safe, but also shows efficacy trend where patients regain lost lung volume in just 12 weeks of taking the pill, which is pretty incredible.
That's pretty amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, I think in like a language model is for sure the hype of this wave of AI, but artificial intelligence is not only about language. Artificial intelligence is intelligence. It can be everything. It need to be everything. It's not only about answers, reply to your questions or something like that. So in the chemistry, or say in the science world, for example, the drug discovery is a very experiment-oriented science. We need to do a lot of experiments. So I was thinking the intelligence in the experiments are also very crucial, or very important. And plus the language models where we can use there are so many tools. So I think the AI in the science world is more like an agent, like to synthesize everything, every tool you can have, and it can help the researchers to build something better.
Yeah, I think that's the way also that we're testing different AI models is in the agentic kind of workflow. So we think that, people is really exposed to LLMs, but the value that we can bring to the world is to really test specific workflows within the science development and try to make them very effective and efficient, and then try to create those POCs that show value and a proof to then build an entire, more autonomous process. And for example, within the area that we're working, we envision a way where researchers can submit data to these data rooms that are available and permissionless, and an agent can buy the token to then access the data and run some computations. So we can think of blockchain technology as a great testbed for agents to operate, and also the element of tokenizing science as kind of the currency for them to access the layer.
Thank you very much. Would you say that there's maybe one, let's say, largest misconception from scientists around AI? So you all mentioned that it's kind of like a supporting function, right? Helps you iterate shit, helps to experiment a bit. But is there something where you say like, okay, you kind of see it in a way that, there's just a bit like a misconception about how to interact with AI. Maybe it's on a day-to-day basis as well, or just overall ways of working. No misconception.
Well, I would like just to double click on what Simon said. It's not ChatGPT, life sciences, where you can evaluate the quality of the model just by simple text-based metrics. You need to do more robust experimental benchmarking of your models, go in the lab, physically make the molecules, test them. So that's a misconception, right? So the validation cycles in drug discovery in life sciences are longer intrinsically because you cannot really benchmark until you go in the lab and make the actual molecules, test them in biochemical assays and cell-based assays. So that's, I think many people don't understand that. And that's a big kind of barrier to entry for new players, right? So you need to invest time and resources into validation.
Appreciate it. Yeah, please go, Simon.
I'm thinking like some kind of misconception between the science world and non-science world. Is like the non-science world always thinking the language models is the AI we are using, AI tools we're using right now can solve all the scientific problems or questions. And the scientists think there are too many hallucinations in the AI models. I think they are both wrong. There's some middle ground of this. And as I said, not all of the AI tools we are using in the research world are large language model, and some models based on the knowledge is like knowledge-based models. They are trustful, right? They are trustworthy. So I think they are people need to. They're just different group of people. Like the scientists may be experts in chemistry, but they don't know AI pretty well. They need to know all of the fields a little bit more, I think. So I think.
Yeah, I think for my side, I think that one of those misconceptions is that AI is going to steal their jobs and replace them completely. And I am a believer that AI is here to really enhance all of us. And I think that what is important is to change the role and really see ourselves as the designers of the best AI model that we can figure it out for ourselves and for the work that we do. So there's a bunch of personalization, customization, optimization for specific tasks and workflows that should happen. And that is not going to happen unless researchers get into the role of designing these models with us.
Yeah, I mean, without AI, I will lose my job. So,
yeah, I think it goes for a lot of different roles, right? You have to be a bit open towards AI, explore it a bit, and be able to, enhance your workflow. Otherwise, you probably get left hanging at some stage. Yeah, very much appreciate it. I do want to shift a bit the focus more towards, I guess, the scientific entrepreneurship. So I know biotech founders, and you can probably speak from your experience as well, face some of the hardest translational and commercialization challenges probably in any of the industries. Sorry, long day. So where do you see AI playing, let's say, some crucial role when it not just comes to discovery and support, but also, for example, when it comes more to the R&D process, or let's say the entrepreneurial journey in general?
Well, I would say that now is the best time to be in this space, because AI truly provides an unlock of what you can do with minimal capital. You can, like, typically big pharma and biotech industry starts with from the lab, from the experiment on the bench side, and now you can start on the AI side first. You can model biology, chemistry, clinical stages with AI approaches, and reduce the number of steps required to get into candidate selection process for your drug program. So I think right now the capital required to enter a clinic with the molecule is significant, like orders of magnitude lower. So it's the best time to be in that space for new entrepreneurs, because AI provides a huge value add, and democratizes, or makes it more affordable to go after real drug discovery programs.
Yeah, I would say AI definitely changed the structure of entrepreneurship. I was talking with one of our audience during the coffee break, and he was the early team member of Palantir, and he just told me he used the AI coder, of course, and the code that take him maybe 6 to 8 weeks to write, or the original thing is take a team to write for 6 to 8 weeks. It can be written by AI now in like 10 minutes. So that's a game changer. You don't need a group of people to do the coding stuff. You just need an AI and your thoughts. It can do everything. That's in the software world, but in the science world, I think it will become true in the near future. So we have the agents. You are one very talented people with your idea in the science. You can just tell the agent, and agent will do all the research works for you, and you can just enjoy the work of the AI agent. So yeah, as I mentioned in the fireside chat just now, we have the new concept called solopreneurship. You just one talented people. You bring your idea. We have all the services using AI and robotics, and you can be a one-person company, one-person hard tech company, and I think it's a game changer.
Yeah, I think in the similar lines, and something that other previous speakers have already mentioned, I think the vision that we have, at least with Molecule and the products and platform that we're building, is that we want researchers to own their initial IP, be able to develop it. And with the help of AI, all of a sudden they become full entrepreneurs, and they have the ability to define their projects in a much more effective way. So it can be commercially viable, to make sure that there's no, existing patent, or it's not like extremely competitive space. They can already define their experiments in a way that the market is going to be interested on them. So we believe that it's just a fantastic tool for entrepreneurship, and also a tool for the general public to learn about the science itself. So I do also think that is a kind of two-way, where AI can also translate what the research is about in a format and in a way that others can consume, and can make science just much more accessible and much more participatory than what it is now.
I like this a lot. I think in particular, just doubling on what you both said, right? Like the speed of execution, and also I guess this one-man army is quite an interesting concept. And yeah, I think you hear this over the board, right? Now is the time to start something. Now is the time to be an entrepreneur, because it is that easy. Not that it is easy, but it's much easier than before, because you can try to, support your work streams quite a lot through AI, which is interesting. I have one more follow-up on the entrepreneur journey through AI. Have you actually seen, let's say, fellow founders as well pivot because of AI? Or was it something where they had an initial sketch out, maybe an existing company that you kind of worked with that changed their business model drastically because of AI, or haven't even started their business because of it?
Well, right now it's hard to find top 20 like pharma company that doesn't have AI on the front page, right? So it's it's been like a pivot for everybody. Yeah, in terms of like smaller startups, we saw a flurry of those, especially like a few years ago. There were like thousands of AI drug discovery companies. The industry has consolidated a bit since then, but we still see new kind of newcomers that embrace AI and focus on specific modalities, therapeutic modalities. Yeah, I think nowadays, if you don't have like the AI component, it's really hard to, even be seen as like investable, right? So everybody like, and it's not unfounded, right? So you actually see value that AI brings in many of those niche areas. So yeah, it's almost a must to have it.
Yeah, I think that was for blockchain for some time as well.
Yeah, just want to echo what Alex just talked about. So the environment has been changed by AI. Like people may not notice that, but when you use a software, like you use Instagram, you use TikTok, the algorithm that the recommendation algorithm is based on AI, right? So it is not like what we wanted or not, but it's happening. It changed your life. I think it might be similar in the future in the science world.
And yeah, from me, it's just seeing the space, like the crypto space. We're not launching any agent token. Now is one of those really big categories, right? And the same thing for us. Just a few years ago, we weren't launching agentic, like Aubrey. Just that we weren't launching AI projects. Now we have, scientific-led, people-led project and also agent-led projects. So we're already seeing that that's like happening across the board, and especially like now Bio specifically has a launchpad that can enable agents to launch, right? And we do have, for example, a platform that is capable of programmatically feed information from an agent into a data room that other people can consume. So I think we're just seeing the transformation of that, and we're all kind of exploring and testing and having fun with the technology the best we can to learn from it.
Perfect, thank you. I want to steer the conversation a bit more into the data side of things. So I think you've already touched upon this, Simon, in your prior talk. Of course, you need the data all powering all of this, right? The models being trained on proprietary data, I guess instances as well, that can be in competitive edge, right? So if you look at Aubrey, for example, it's trained on the private communications from Aubrey de Grey, so just what the project that Maria mentioned. But what I wanted to understand a bit, and also think about like reproducibility crisis, siloed data sets, and also I guess dirty data, is whether there is an actually data problem in science, and also the accessibility, right? You touched upon this. Now you have a whole factory generating data in Hong Kong right now. So yeah, just wanted to get your talks about this. How do you see, how does it get solved? Like, how do we make data more accessible? Maybe you don't even want to do that, right? But like, what's your take on this?
Well, as many people like to say these days, data is a new oil, right? So public data sources have been commoditized and already utilized. So a lot goes into generating proprietary data, synthetic data these days that would differentiate newer generation of models. So focus on data generation is something truly core, to our company, and we've been generating data, proprietary data, for a long time for many of our internal programs, drug discovery programs on both preclinical and clinical side. So in terms of data biases that exist, right? So you need to fully acknowledge it, right? So we have specific bias in terms of like population data that is available. How we do drug discovery is heavily biased towards, Western data generated in the Western part of the world. And we need more initiatives on generating longitudinal data across the globe. And I think initiatives on decentralization of data generation and allowing to generate data and extract value from that data on a global scale, on the global south, is super important, because we still lack the data. And this kind of notion of dirty data is also kind of subjective, right? So because dirtiness of the data is a function of time, right? Data that's generated now that is considered clean can be considered dirty in 10 years. just by intrinsic like noise of the equipment used to generate it. So yeah, we're all in favor of generating more data, specifically around aging, because we truly think that aging is underlying cause of many of the diseases, and we must tackle aging process as a whole holistically, and we need more longitudinal data to track how the disease happens, the onset of disease, the progression of disease in time. So it's true causality metric, right? So how disease happen in time.
Yeah. So from my side, I think my opinion is based on my I would say area of working. So our company is based in China. So in China, also I talk with some of my colleagues in Korea and Japan, or say in the East Asia, the things are pretty much similar. People care about their data. People know the data is valuable, so they keep it privacy, right? If you want to use their data, they are very sensitive. They are very defensive. Sorry, they're very defensive about their data. So when you're trying to approach to a professor in the university and say we can collaborate together to do something, you provide your data, we provide our algorithm, 90% of the time they will say no, because they think their data is more valuable than our algorithms. But the question is, if you don't use your data is worth nothing. You need to use it. So how to prove, how to tell them like your privacy is proved, and the value of your data is extracted from the database you have. I think this is one crucial problem we need to solve, and this might be the decentralized method can help. So we're also eager to see there's some more progress or development in this area.
Nice. For me, I think my hypothesis is kind of twofold. Like the first one is, what is the sort of incentive that in our case, like many of the researchers have to give us their data? And also what is the incentive they have to bring data with a specific format, right? So that's one part. And I think that in the world that we're trying to build in, where we're incentivizing via this kind of token economy, the researcher actions that can be solved. And the other one, I think, is the feedback element that I don't think that has been built yet properly with many of these agentic flows or AI, is that when you're submitting that data, you can get an instant feedback about how that submission is or how well formatted it is. So I do think that if we create a much high intensity feedback from an AI system to the human that is submitting that dirty data, we can potentially solve it at the moment where that event is happening, instead of figuring out later after like an entire trial happened that the data is unusable. So I think that that's one part. And the other part is the distributed network. So if you're able to run the experiment in different places at the same time with this sort of control element of feedback, you then can truly observe where the potential issues are happening with the data. Yeah, so that's why I'm like super confident that we can run these, these trials in a distributed network where researchers get incentivized to submit data and they get an automatic feedback. We can make it work, and we are trying to build that within Molecule Labs. That is the product that we're building.
Well said. Of course, I'm a bit biased towards that solution as well. No, I just want to double down. I think also crypto could play a really interesting role here in the decentralized data collection, but also the incentivization, thank you, for those people to actually submit the data. So it doesn't feel like I'm just doing a donation of my data, but rather in return have a bit of an upside in sharing this information. And training things. So maybe before going to the next question, I was going to ask, how much time do we have? Okay, then maybe I'll try to make it short. We've talked about all of the benefits of AI and the beauty on how it's going to change the industry. What's your biggest fear with regards to AI? Is there anything that you're not scared of, but is there anything that you're skeptical of? Something that is a bit, not necessarily threatening, but just a concern, I guess.
Well,
AI overlord.
Yeah, not concerned about. Well, in our space, it doesn't really matter we have so many guardrails put in place in drug discovery, where you evaluate safety at multiple stages, efficacy at multiple stages. So those guardrails are ensuring that the AI applications are not harmful, right? So you don't. It doesn't really matter if I use my platform to generate a molecule. I can dream of the molecule in my sleep, right? If it works, it works. It goes through all the stages and is validated, and it's great. So I'm not really concerned about AI like overlord, because we have all those checks and balances. In other applications, like medical applications, AI-assisted surgery, it's more kind of the distance to potentially harmful event is closer, right? So we need to pay extra attention to those cases. But in general, I'm optimistic, and I hope that one kind of wish I have is that everybody collaborates globally, because the human health is a universal human right. We're in this boat together, like humanity, right? So everybody, gets old, and some people get disease. So we need to collaborate. We have thousands of diseases without a cure, without any treatment option. So yeah, I would encourage like global collaboration without boundaries.
Well said.
For me, in general, I would say my biggest fear of the AI is overheat, because overheat means bubble will be bursted eventually. So it doesn't matter if it's a good thing or not. If overheat happens, it will burst, and burst may harm the value of a great thing. So that's what I fear most. I hope we can like treat the AI like more, how say, like just don't hit it up too speed, too fast.
Don't overhype it.
Yeah, I think for me, and this is a project I just learned about, is that we have someone in the conference that is running our project that AI is renting humans to be able to gather data, right? So that is definitely terrifying somehow. So for me, I think it's about how do we make sure that we build the protections necessary for us humans to, be protected against agents. Agents are going to happen and they're going to develop. So it's about how do we potentially create our base agent for us, or a swarm of agent that protects our, our necessities and needs and our well-being in a way. So yeah, I'm also like quite optimistic, but I do think that they're here to outsmart us. We just need to continue to play the game and test new strategies every single step.
Thank you so much for this. Then happy to wrap this out. Thank you so much for the panelists to join us here. And yeah, on to the next one, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you.